Hello everyone, welcome to another Wizards Unite video, and in this video we're going to talk about the profession Professor again. And disclaimer before I get into everything, I am a magic zoologist, but I really do love talking about professors. I think they're the most interesting profession in the game by far. There's just so many things that go into this profession, and I really do like it. And before we get into some of the negative parts of or drawbacks of being a professor, I'd have to say professor it's a extremely strong profession, as all of the professions are. I don't really see, like, in the end game, after everything is all said and done, I don't really see a profession that is just so much better than the others, especially in huge group play. If you're playing solo, then there could be argument for, say, Aura is probably better than the other two by a margin, but otherwise all these professions are great, and obviously that includes the professor. But there are some issues that I would like to discuss with you guys for professors, and some stuff that I think folks should be aware of before they really commit long-term to professors, because it's a commitment, man. Professors are, it's a long-term project. Professors do need time and effort and energy to really utilize it to its max. So, the first reason why I say that is, let's go to the costs first. So every profession, you got, to go down the skill tree, you got 3 items that you have to expend. Scrolls, which are from just random encounters that give you family rank EXP, which you could level up, and you get scrolls, and you could also get these like 4 per day from the daily missions. So overall, they're not too hard to obtain. And then you also got spell books, which are a bit more difficult to obtain. You get them from challenges. You get the challenge EXP from challenges, and then you level up your challenge rank, and then you get books like that. But in the end, it's, as long as you got time on your hands, you could grind this one out. It'll take some time, but if you put in the work, you could get a lot of spell books. And the last one, restricted section books are they're restricted, and very unfortunately, they don't come by that often. And I think we're only having our first worldwide event for restricted section books. These only come in events so far, and there was one before this, which was only in the beta areas, which was more than a month ago, about that long ago. And if that's like their schedule for these events, and really don't expect to have this event like every week, or maybe even every 2 weeks. This is probably going to be, if I were to put money on it to guess how often these will come by, probably going to be once a month or so, right? So these are extremely difficult to get. Every time you only get a limited amount, and these are very important. And when you look at professors, and this is why I say it's a long-term commitment, professors need double the amount of restricted section books to complete their skill tree in comparison to the other two. And professors have a lot of skills on the board that you need to grab. Professor has so many great skills, but all of them you need to take time to build. Like, it's really incremental steps every time you put in restricted books, honestly. Unlike auras, this is probably the most stark contrast. Auras, you could get going really fast as soon as you pick auras up. Spend a few days working on some scrolls, spell books. You could get the basic fundamentals of auras skill tree all built up and ready. 1 or 2 events that will get you pretty much well-rounded for auras. Zoologist, a bit more difficult. You need at least 2 events to come by to build a foundation for Zoologist. But professors, you really need to put in the long-term commitment for this, as in comparison to the other two, needs twice the amount of restricted section books to build up its skills and skill trees. And I mean, it's worth it, kinda, to build them up, because Professor's skills, there's some great skills that Professor has, and there's some really awkward ones, and we're gonna talk about those right now. So looking at its skills, Deterioration Hex is probably one of the strongest skills in the game. For 3 focus, it used to be the unanimous strongest skill in the game. Now it got nerfed quite a bit, got nerfed by 50%, and that's also the other thing that we do want to talk about really briefly. I went over a whole video of that nerf. You could check that out on my channel if you go search it up. It's about the Professor's Deterioration Hex nerf, and this it's still good. 3 focus, place an impairment on a foe that lowers their stamina max -40 every time they attack or defend. Extremely strong skill, but there are some other skills that Professor has that are quite problematic. Let's talk about Protection Charm. So Protection Charm enhances a teammate by increasing their defense by 30% and costs 3 focus. So when looking at it, it doesn't seem that bad, right? For 3 focus, you're getting 30% defense. It greatly increases Professor's survivability. Like, Professors, they're not mad zoologists. They can't take as many hits, although they're also not auras. They're not as crispy as auras, so they can take a decent amount of hits, but this just makes them more tankier, right? Problem: if you check some other skills that the other professions have, especially the auras, if you look at Weakening Hex for auras, Weakening Hex impair a foe by lowering their power up to 50% for only 1 focus. It really feels like Professor's got extremely shafted here, right? So, like, not only is it 30% versus 50%, like, the 30% is defense in comparison to, like, straight lowering their power, which is even better than increasing defense, because when you increase defense, there are still other things that can affect it, right? From your opponent, they can have defense breach, which breaks your defense, and that doesn't really happen if you just straight up lower their power by 50% from auras, right? So it only costs 1 focus. It has a better effect, and it has bigger numbers. So Professor's really got screwed over here a lot. Although, like, the only, I guess, better thing about Protection Charm over Weakening Hex, and it's not like exactly Weakening Hex is just better by every single standard. There's one upside to Protection Charm, which is if you look at a Professor's skill tree, there's a lot of skills. Let me see if is this the one? No, that's not the one. Skills like this, Strength in Numbers, it as long as you have 1 or more buff, it increases your power by 5. And then, among other things, if you have 2 or more buffs, you increase your power by 12, which is a lot. It's a decent amount. And that, obviously you need buffs on you to trigger this skill, which Weakening Hex is a hex. It's an impair, which could trigger some other skills, like this one. 2 or more, you get a 9% defense boost there. But that's basically the only difference, and this is all good. It does increase your power and stuff, but these skills really aren't a priority for Professors, especially considering like they have so many good skills and they cost so many restricted section books that these are not priorities at all, and it's gonna take a while to even get to those. So like that small edge that if you even want to call it an edge, that the Protection Charm has over the Weakening Hex is just gone, right? So yeah, a lot of problems with Professor. It's still a great it's still a great profession, but I just wanted to bring up some of these problems just so that you guys are aware before you do commit to being a professor. And, you know, I like professor. I would prefer to have at least one professor on my team every time we go fight a fortress in a group. But yeah, it's gonna take a while to really maximize or optimize your skill sets in comparison to the other classes. And also, you would just have to take the L on some things, right? The protection charm versus weakening hex, you'll just have to take the L on that one, which is unfortunate. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Really short video, just talking about some things that folks should be aware when or before picking or committing to being a professor. And again, I can't say enough great things about professors, but these are some things that you have to take in consideration. The 3 things: the amount of restricted section books it takes to fully optimize it, and the protection charm versus aura's weakening hex disparity, and also the deterioration hex nerf, which I don't even want to talk about this anymore. It's so sad, but hey, it was way too overpowered before, so it's a reasonable nerf, although there's probably would have been other ways to go about it. Maybe, you know, maybe nerf deterioration hex and also bring down the amount of restricted section books that professors need, or, you know, don't nerf it this hard or bring its focus down a bit or whatever. But hey, it is what it is. So yep, that's gonna be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these drawbacks from professors, if you guys are committing to professors, and how you guys will go about working on your professors. And yep, that's maybe it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.